Hi ladies, as promised I'm posting the September swap early, and I've done this video to accompany the return of the swaps. Now there's going to be 3 swaps, a choice of 3 swaps this month, and you can choose to either do 1, 2 or all 3. It's up to you. You can sign up for 1 or you can sign up for 3. The first swap is this. And these are gift packs I make and I gift to people. It's like a scrapbooking kit. I hand make the things, I pack them, and then I gift them. I might give them, you know, stick them in with swaps or racks or what have you. And I'll just go through this one with you. It's all prettily packaged up, as you can see. And that is my logo, 2 black kittens, Sue Kitten. Right, in this and in your own swap, I'll show you what's in mine first of all. There's a handmade tag here. I'll go more in depth in a few minutes. And then I've got some pretty brads packaged neatly and a handmade flower. And then underneath there, there's some mini tags, some lace, another handmade flower, 2 little handmade flower paper clips, and here 2 banners. Sorry for that, that's my text. So I'll just go through it. First of all, in the gift pack, I've packaged this gift tag. It's made of chipboard. It's really thick. You could hammer some nails in with this, and I've put plenty of detail in it. I've covered it with blue paper here, and then I've laid it again with a piece of black, and I've paid attention to detail all the way through this tag. I've fancy cornered each corner, and then I've laid an image from a lady's diary, and once again I've rounded these corners. Then here I've put a very, very thin piece of black trim, and I've topped half that off with this thin, beautiful snow white crocheted lace, and I've done the same near the end. I've covered it with the little black trim, and then I've overlapped it with the white crocheted lace. And moving this out the way, I've threaded a double satin red bow, well, ribbon. I made it into a bow. Excuse me. And on the flip side of the tag, I've backed the back with pink cardstock. I've stamped just a note, and I've gone right through the edge with a thick red marker. And you can see the overlapping lace from the other side, and you can see the red ribbon which matches the red border. And on the flip side, I've also given the edging a red border on this side as well, and that is really thick, that tag. So that's handmade tag I've popped in here. I hope that it's not too much of a glare. I've cut a piece of cardstock and I've put fancy corners on each piece, and I've threaded 4 brads in there, 2 large ones, a medium one, and a lovely like diamante one. So there's 4 brads in there. I've made this paper flower, and it's not just a couple of die cuts stuck together. I've chosen different shaped die cuts, different coloured cards, different textured paper, and I've laid them all together. They're held together by this lovely like diamante brad purple, which matches these petals here. And on the petals of the flowers, I've stickled them with different colours, the silver and the gold. And then on the bottom layer of the gift pack, there's a gift tag here with actually 3 reams of lace around it. It only looks like 2, but there's 3. There's a thick white and blue and a thick yellow, and then right in the middle there's a very thin yellowy gold ribbon. And once you've used all the lace, you're left with a tag. The idea of this is to use everything in the pack. You can reuse the bags, the brand new. I've just popped a couple of things in and I've sellotaped it very carefully, which will peel off. And I've done that on all these things, so you can use this pink thick cardstock. The idea is to use everything in the pack, including the packaging. So back to this, I've wrapped the lace round the tag. So when you've used the lace, you've got a lovely thick tag to use as well. I've done a dozen of these little tags, 6 of each design. And I've matched the colours with 2 little paper clips here and with these paper clips here. And the lace and the flowers. I've matched everything all colour coordinated. So as I say, you've got a dozen of the small tags which you can use as journal tags in your scrapbook. 2 little paper clips that you can clip things into. You can decorate the pages with the lace and then use the tag as a journal tag. You've got 2 banner paper clips here to clip things in. Decorate the front cover, all the pages, with this paper flower that I made. Very similar to the other one, slightly bigger, a bit more fancy maybe. I've used different shaped and different coloured flower die cuts and petals. I've laid them all together and I've held them together with this like turquoise pearl brad, and I've decorated all the petals with stickles. See, on the black petals I've put silver and red stickles. On the tips of the purple I've put silver. And on the tips of those yellow, the tiny yellow, I've put purple and gold on the yellow. All coordinating with everything that's in the pack. And to go with the gold stickles there, moving across to these flowers. They're made of solid brass, so they won't rust if you put wet glue on them. I've put a tiny bit of double-sided tape, so that'll the clip will peel off, and then you can rub that off so you can reuse the pink card. So you get 2 of the brass ones, one with a red flower and a white pearl centre, and the reverse on the other one, a white flower with a white pearl centre. So we'll just go through it again. You've got the pink backing card, 2 flower paper clips, 2 blue banner paper clips, a large fancy flower, 3 pieces of lace round a tag, 12 tiny tags with 2 paper clips, another fancy tag and 4 brads, and a lovely thick chipboard tag, all packaged up neatly in this gift pack. So this is one of the swaps to make a gift pack with scrapbooking or card making goodies inside. Do about the same amount that I've done. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 9 or 10 subjects. So don't just get a bag and put a couple of tags and a couple of flowers. You know, put a good variety like I've done and package it all up. You can just package it on one piece of card if you like, or you can layer it like I've done and put some fancy packaging on the top. But I'll go through it again. A chipboard tag, 2 large fancy flowers, 4 brads, 2 brass flowery paper clips, 2 banner paper clips, 2 tiny paper clips, a dozen tiny tags, 3 pieces of lace and a tag, 3 plastic bags and packaging. So if you're going to make one of these gift packs, obviously don't do exactly like I've done, but do something similar. For those people who are in the craft club but they don't do much crafting, but they just love to be involved in craft, or you don't feel very confident, I don't mind you making one of these up with shop bought items like I don't know, shop bought die cuts and what have you. I have handmade everything here and hand packed it all. If you've stuck on this one, get back to me on the craft page. So that's one of the swaps. A gift, a handmade scrapbooking or card making gift bag. Right, that's swap 1. Now for swap 2. A handmade clipboard. Let me move this out the way so it doesn't distract you. Right, this is a handmade chipboard I've made. Sorry, clipboard, but it's made out of chipboard. I'm racing ahead of myself. That's the reverse side. Beautiful botanicals yellow paper, and I've put a thick mint green washi tape all round the perimeter, and that's the back. Now, the idea is to hang it from this binder clip on your kitchen wall or by your desk or wherever. If you don't want to hang it on there, you want to use that, just put a little piece of ribbon on the back and hang it like so. If you want to remove the decoration to use on a project, you can. Now the idea of this is to have a clipboard with a pocket. One of the stipulations, it's got to have a pocket, and inside the pocket you've just got to put 5 tiny useful items. Now I'll go through, these are like 5 tiny gifts for your swap partner, and I'll go through what should be in the pocket, or not what should be in the pocket, but a good idea of what's in the pocket. So you've got a brass paper clip with a flower and a pearl centre. So that's one of the useful things that everyone can use. A pink flower with a button centre, another useful thing you can use. A little yellow drawstring bag, another useful thing you can use in your scrapbooking or your card making. A handmade journal tag which coordinates with the clipboard, the paper, botanicals. So I've cut a piece of the paper out and I've mounted it onto this opaque vellum, and then I've given it fancy corners, which I actually did on the envelope punch board. See the fancy corners? That punch board is so versatile, it's brilliant. And then on the back I've stamped journal, so you can pop all these things in a scrapbook. And I've made a little tiny envelope again on the punch board, and that can go in your scrapbook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I've put 6 things in. And here's a 4x4 coaster photo mat that I've made. It's a double-sided photo mat, so that can go in your scrapbook. So some ideas of what you can put in. Don't just make the board and stick 5 paper clips in or something. Put 5 or 6 useful items that you would use in scrapbooking or card making and put them in the pocket. Now I've included 6 things there, but you could easily use the binder clip as well and the decoration. I've decorated it simply because I've put the beautiful birds, flowers and fruit paper on the front there. That's from the Botanicals range as well. I've made a little pocket out of the opaque vellum, and I've lined the bottom of it with this thin white lace, and I've topped the pocket off with this gorgeous white crochet lace. So there's my clipboard with the stipulated pocket with the 5 or 6 useful items that you can use in scrapbooking or card making. And there's some ideas. If you want to make one of these and you're stuck on ideas, well, there's some ideas. And if you need any others, just ask on the craft page and I'll give a list of things that you could use. So that's swap 2, which is the handmade clipboard with useful items inside. The third thing that you can make, the third swap is 10 handmade journal cards. And these are so simple to make. I'll give you some ideas now of how you can make these. A lot of them you can make from scraps even. Right, here's one idea. I went to my scrap bucket, got different coloured cards, as you can see, one piece bigger than the other. I've rounded the corners, got a smaller piece which I've fancy cut the corners, and I've mounted it on, and on the reverse I've stamped journal. As you can see, as I'll go through these, you can see all these journal cards are different sizes and shapes. Here's another scrap piece of card I got out of the scrap bin, and I've mounted a Tim Holtz birdcage die, and this was thrown in the, getting ready to be thrown away, because when I die cut it I didn't get the whole top bit in, so I cut it straight and mounted it on there, and that's another journal card for a scrapbook. You can use a lot of different things when you're making journal cards. You can use a heck of a lot of scraps, or you can, you know, leftovers and what have you. This here, which you could make by mounting 2 pieces of card and then sticking 3 butterflies on or something. That shop bought and I had one left over, so just mounted it on a piece of card. I've left the corners sharp, and I've left the corners sharp here, and then just put that in as a journal card. On the back of some of them I've stamped journal, some I've stamped just a note, various things, but it's up to you how you design your own cards. Here I've cut a piece of card about the size of a business card, and I've just trimmed the bottom. I've been in the scrap bin and I've trimmed the bottom with that. Here's another one, very similar, business card again, but trimmed it with a thicker. And how else could you use these tiny scraps? You could maybe use them as borders for pockets, but if you've only got small pieces like that, perfect for journal cards, and you can journal on both sides of those. Here's another one. I've had a lot of these little ticket size pieces of card that I'd cut over the thing. Just mount the top and the bottom with washi tape, and that could go in a mail scrapbook. That's a mail journal card. Here's one that perhaps could go in a baby album, pale blue with mint green. You could stamp baby or something here. On the reverse of this, it's actually dark blue, and I've put pieces of washi tape again, tape measure, again in a mail album. Here's a pretty one, flower, washi tape, lace. You can absolutely stick anything when you're hand making these journal cards. Sometimes I'll just use a whole afternoon making journal cards, so when I come to do scrapbooks I've got a box of journal cards that I can dig into. But look at that one, that's lovely, pale blue, beautiful lace, silver washi, and a lovely flower. And then you could journal on the back. Now I've made these from little books of I think they call them notelets. They're not even 3x3, and you get all pages. Well, I buy a lot of those little books, and I buy them primarily to make journal cards. The pages are made out of just flimsy paper, so I've mounted that on top of a pink card so that the pink of the pig matches the pink card, and then I've even tiny bits I don't waste. If the tiny scraps, I'll punch out tiny flowers or cats or hearts or whatever, and I've decorated the two sides of that, and I've stamped on the back journal. And I've made some mail ones as well, again out of these little books of notelets. Cut them out. I've left the corners sharp to give it another, I don't know whether sharp corners means mail, but it gives, with the blue paper and the unfancy page, it gives it type like a mail feel, so that can go in a mail album. Another one of those pages. These are all out of different books, not the same one. I've rounded the corners this time to match the rounded of the tag, and stamped journal. And then you can go bigger. This is a piece of scrap paper I was working with. It was left over. Oh, I'm trying to think of the name of the paper. Tilly something was the paper, and I actually bought the Tilly. They're not just called Tilly, it's Tilly something. I bought the tiny book of notelets. So I've tore a page out, I've mounted it on the pale blue card, and then I've mounted that on a piece of the paper from the same collection. I think, see, apples, ideal for a Halloween or autumn album. So that's one of the pages mounted on the blue card, mounted on the leftover paper, and I've left a border, and I think that's lovely journal card. And I did the same idea with this one as well. This one's out the Tilly. Sorry, I can't think of the full name. I'll put it in the description box if I get time. Now this paper is not from the range, but the range of these, but they're the same colours, very much autumn colours. So I've mounted the page onto this piece of card, and I've rounded the corners, and it's a double-sided card, but still you can journal on that, and I've written on journal, and that's another journal card. You can see the glue on that one, so I wouldn't use this, but this is one of the pages, and I've stuck it onto a 4x4 coaster piece of card, and it's very pale. I don't know if it's picking up, but it does actually say journal on the back. So you can get the idea, can't you? With the books of these pages, stick them on different coloured and different sizes of cards round the corners, or leave them sharp, mount them onto bigger pages. There's loads of ideas. I'll just go through a couple more. This one's out of the Vintage Notes, one of my favourite paper lines. I bought the book of those as well. I've stuck it onto a piece of pink cardstock, and I've just used one of my, I think it's a daisy border punch, and I've rounded the top corners and stamped journal. Oh, sorry. Here's a large piece of pink card. I've just stuck a cupcake chipboard sticker on, and I've stamped journal on the back. This one here, I got a Stampin' Up tag making kit off a friend for Christmas. So I've used the idea on this. I've cut a piece of card, I've put the Stampin' Up twine around it, stamped journal, and then this was one of the stamps in the kit, and I used the Stampin' Up ink cherry cobbler, I think that is, but that's that one. See, you can use all different coloured cards, stamps, little die cuts, stickers. You can absolutely use anything when you're making journal cards. Here's some now that I've used just using card and using a couple of punches. Right, this one was a small, like, ticket size piece of card, and what I've done, I've just chomped out the 4 corners with a round punch. Just boom, 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 and that's the effect you get. And then you can leave as is or decorate it or stamp it. So that's that one. This one I used, again, it was the exact like ticket size card, and I chomped the 4 corners with a square punch, twisted so it's like diagonal. So I cut off the 4 triangles, and that's using a, I think it's either a 1 or a 1.5 inch square, and that's a 1.5 inch round punch. So just pieces of card and use your punches. Now that one that I just showed you, that I done with the square punch, when you, let me look for a white one to lean it on. Let me see, it's not showing up on that. There. When you first cut it with the square punch, this is design you get with a tail on each cut, and you can leave that as is, which is like that, or you can snip them off to make the same tag as I just showed you previously. Here's 2 for little baby albums. A pale blue card trimmed with pale blue trim and like a mint green washi tape. And then I've done the same. I've been in the scrap box. I've got small pieces of card out, straightened them up, rounded the corners, piece of pink washi tape and trimmed with a piece of pink trim. Ideal for little boy and little girl baby albums. And then you could just stamp here baby, or put a little image, either a stamp or a sticker here, and then journal on the reverse. Here's one I cut out of Christmas paper, just a traditional tag shape, which I've put a nice Christmas ribbon in and topped it with some nice white lace at the bottom. Now, to make this into a journal tag, because it is double-sided paper, I would just cover this with white paper and stamp journal, or another coloured cardstock like pink, or with it being Christmas I would do a Christmas colour cardstock and stamp journal. And that's a traditional tag shape, which I do put a lot in a lot of my albums. I do the tag shapes. You can also get your dies out and just do all different shapes, colours and sizes. You can mount these onto card and stamp journal, or just use these as little tickets and journal on those. Again, in the scrap bucket, take out pieces of designer paper, cut them to size, round the corners, stamp journal. Again, just a piece of card with another piece of card stuck on top.